Hey, welcome back to another episode of DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm host Mega 31. We have the race in New Hampshire today. We'll see if it happens. They've got tornado watches, thunderstorm watches, bad weather today and tomorrow. So we'll have to see. Just watch the comments because DK moved up black and surprised a lot of people, or NASCAR did. So DK had it also. Yesterday's Xfinity race, I know some of our viewers were kind of trumped with dead lineups, and I think DK took care of them, but just make sure we're okay with that. Um, Having a good week here at FSI. We cruised past 5,000 um, viewers or subscribers. So thank you so much for that if you've been part of it. And if you are a subscriber, just one reminder that just take a screenshot of it, send it to promos@fsidfs.com, and we'll send you a thank you coupon for free VIP week, which will cover NASCAR, baseball, WNBA, PGA, soccer, Euros going on, everything. Cocker. So, it's $25 value, just a little thank you for helping us to hit this milestone. So, again, thank you so much for that. So, we'll see if this race happens. Again, weather's not looking good. It might happen on Tuesday, but Xfinity race, I'm just surprised that they actually got that in. No practice and qualifying, so they used the magic formula to try to figure out how they're going to start the drivers. It's not as bad as Xfinity, where you had some really good drivers towards the bottom of the field because there was Cup guys and now guys don't run regularly. I think the field is pretty much where it should be. So it's pretty top heavy, honestly, based on current form and results and points and stuff like that. So we'll see how things shake out. The baby blue drivers are New England drivers. I know Logano's from Connecticut, and I forget where Priest and Garrell are from, but they're from the area. I wouldn't necessarily call this their home track, but they should know it pretty well and usually do decent here. Not that it's going to give them a complete edge in Gralla, but Priest and Logano, it might be extra consideration of GPP. So starting up top, Chase Elliott had the gets the pole here. We did have a little bit of practice, but you really can't go by that. It was just there. I think they were going out there and seeing if it was actually like safe to run on the track. So I think they were just trying to. It was like a dress rehearsal more than anything. They were going out there and making sure that there weren't any big, huge issues with mechanical with the car, that the brakes work, that the steering works, stuff like that. So we'll even look at practice data. So Elliott gets the pole here. I think that it's going to be highly owned just because he's on the pole, and it's hard to pass the leader here. It's a decent price point. I look at him as a GPP play, as upside dominator. I mean, I get it if you want to take Chase Elliott or Blaney in cash, but I just kind of worry that they're going to throw a competition caution a little bit into it, and it's going to re-rack the field and give some of these other drivers with heat in their tires at that point to be able to go and pass to get ahead of him. Blaney obviously dominated at Iowa, ran a great race last week, but he's been hit or miss in some of the other short flats. So I can't put him as a cash play dominator, the purple, but I think that he's one that you can also consider here. Byron, he qualifies up here just because of like the formula. He has not been good on short flat tracks, and he was okay last week in Iowa, but I don't think I can. He's GPP to almost a fade to me. Um, Christopher Bell is where we're going to start here. Chalk played dominant car in 2022. Had a fast car in 2023. Got in a wreck. Ran the Xfinity race yesterday. Did well. Was always up towards the front of it. Ended up winning it. He's kind of on the hot seat with Joe Gibbs. I don't know if you watch the news or Twitter or X or news feed, but he kind of slipped and said, when Chase joins us next year, and Larson was kind of funny on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. It's X. I just can't get used to that. Um, wishing Chase Elliott good luck, but we know that he was really talking about one of his best friends in Chase Briscoe, who seems to be coming to with race trance in the 19. Nothing's been official to my knowledge. Maybe it is by now, but it seems like he let the camera out of the bag. So I think he's going to perform. What gets the spotlight off of you from saying something stupid, winning races? So here we're on Xfinity. If he does good here, gets the double for the weekend, should kind of take the burden off him. Bowman, again, he's up here just because of the formula. Not a great track style for him. He's probably just going backwards here, fade for me. Joey Logano, uh, he has had some success on short flats, and we've seen him run well, but just overall, like the Toyotas have been so much better at this track historically than the Fords, and the Fords have found speed recently. They're in better form, and would surprise me if Logano goes out there and dominates this race. And like it depends. Like last year, we only had one dominator. We had Martin Truex who ran 200 and led 254 laps out of the 307, and I think Harvick had like 10, and like everything else was Austin Dillon had 12. That's a shocker. Um, but yeah, everything else was spread out like bits and pieces throughout the field. So maybe a 1 to 2 dominator is so hard to pass the leader here. So I think that does help Elliott and Blaney. But I think if Bell gets out there, it's going to be potentially lights out. Good night. Um, Logano. So but, anything can happen, so I think a GPP's Logano is a decent play. Martin Truex might have something to say about Christopher Bell, so if it is a 2 dominator race, I would probably see it being Bell and Truex. Truex has always run really well here, dominated last year. Good track style for him, has a little bit of place differential baked in, and the fact that, some people call him Monday Martin because he seems to excel and do really well when races are postponed on Monday. I don't know how that is, like, really a thing more than, like, lore because, like, scientifically, I don't know, like, how you could say, like, a racer is better, like, racing on one day of the week than another day of the week. Like, I don't know what factors would go into that formula to bring you that outcome, but, it does seem to be a thing, and sometimes in sports, you just gotta accept things, and maybe it's in the heads of all the other drivers and in his head that he does really well on Mondays and it helps him perform better, make better decisions. I don't know, but it is kind of a thing. I still like him on Sunday, and I think if you can get to he and Bell in your cash lineups, then I think that's a fine place to start. Again, you might be sacrificing. It might not work because Elliott or Blaney might be out there. That's why I'm not putting any prime plays up here because I want you to be able to make your own decisions and how you want to build with your own narrative. So maybe you go Elliott and Bell. Maybe you go Elliott and Truex as a second dominator. Maybe you think Blaney gets the jump right away after his great form last week, but Blaney's like over $1,000 more expensive than Chase Elliott. So just some ways to build. Ross Chastain's still up here in the mix again. It's more the formula, not a great track style for him. GPP, I don't think he needs to get dominator points to be optimal, but I think he still needs to hang out and like stay in the top 10, maybe get to the top 5. So GPP, I don't think I'll have exposure. Brad Keselowski has been good here. Last year, he finished fifth after starting ninth, so it's almost the same scenario. So that could definitely get you a decent amount of points. Great FanDuel play. If he can stay in the top 10 there. And DK, like, could he get out there and lead some laps? Potentially. Probably needs a little strategy, but if he's already in the top 10, he's probably going to be there for like stage points. So that could lose some track position after the first stage. And some of the other guys that don't care, um, that are going more for the win than try to get stage points. I might have to do some pit strategy. And there's a bunch of decent drivers that need like these they have a good finish to try to get up there because we're not to the crunch time just yet with the playoffs, but every race is this is so profound saying that every race is one less race chance to win your way in, but I mean it's true, and we're not down to a handful, but there's a limited amount of races left. And if they look at the calendar and some of these races might not be winnable for them, then, if this is their shot, then they might try to use pit strategy to get out there. And if it's hard to pass the leader, maybe just try to get the lead and maintain it through that. So, and we kind of saw that in the Xfinity race. So, would that potentially hurt Keselowski? Maybe. Josh Berry, I have a new category here, and I've been reading your comments, and I try to like just the one thing is like we can't approve full lines and so please stop putting full lines out there. Um, But, if it's a 1v1 or a 2v2, then, we could do that. But one of the comments recently has been like, if I'm trying to build a lineup to win 100K, what are some drivers that you would call out? And I'm going to try to, I might not be able to have time to do every single week or have the feeling that I know who they are going to be, but I'm going to try to pick three drivers each week that are low to medium on GPP that aren't like super risky plays, like, you're completely throwing caution to the wind but plays with solid upside, but don't really have a ton of floor. Now you can build these with the cash plays, with the prime plays, with however else you want to fill out your lineup just to have some safety. So get those like good chalk points in there and then throw the 100K ones in there. And that could be like what differentiates your lineup enough with these low ownership guys if they hit to make you very successful in those contests. So we'll try this. We'll see how it works out. So Josh Berry's gonna be the first one. Uh, Kevin Harvick always ran really well here. He started 13th, finished fourth last year, um, and they've always team's been good on short flat. So as Josh Berry, people might overlook him starting 10th with all the ones around him. 8K is a fair price tag. I think he can stay 10th, maybe even move up a little bit. But even if he holds a 10th position, I think he's gonna rack up enough points to put it off his price tag at 8K, and I think he'll probably be less than 15% owned. Daniel Suarez, I think is another low on GPP play here. I didn't feel as confident in the 10K lineup because I think he has potential to potentially move backwards. So we'll have to watch that. Tyler Reddick is a solid cash play here. Also, I don't think he needs to get a ton of like dominator points to pay off the 88 at 12th. If you can move up like 5 points, like seventh or sixth, and the 2311 and Toyotas have been fast here. So I think if he has a good day and keep things clean, that when I see like Chastain and Bowman and potentially Byron falling backwards, if he can take those 3 to 4 spots and move up, should have a good day. Stenhouse had an amazing run last week, but he's starting way too far forward here, and he's starting far forward because of that. You want to play Ricky Stenhouse if he's like 25th on back. So GPP almost a fade. I mean, if you have confidence that he's found something on short flats and that he's going to continue his Iowa success here and finish in the top 15, then go for it. But I don't think I'm touching him. Denny Hamlin, really disappointing last week. Like horrible. He's been good on short flats, and I think I'd really consider him here simply because he the COVID years when they didn't have practice and qualifying, like his team got it. His team made the adjustments the fastest. And I know we're kind of like 4 years removed from that now, but I still think there's a little bit of an element there. So I think with his success on short flats, being a Toyota, I think there's a lot of upside here to definitely build a GPP lineup around him or consider him as an upside dominator. Chris Buescher, not a great track style for him. GPP here, probably just to take it or leave it. Maybe a borderline fade. Not super interested. Todd Gillian, another one that's probably going to be overlooked. I was like, he's starting way too far forward, but he has solidly finished in the top 20. He is quietly having a good season. He was a really great in the truck series and he moved over here, and of course, like, as everybody, you have your lumps, but he was one of our favorite cash floor plays. And I think again he'll have low ownership. People will be like, I'm not touching him playing here, but front row has had a solid program. They're moving in the right direction and becoming a power player in NASCAR Cup Series. Not that they're going to be an elite team, but they're becoming a very formidable team, let's say. So I think that Gillian is someone that's going to be overlooked, and I think that he could be your second piece to your 100K lineup. Bubba Wallace, I'm going to make a prime play here. 2311, good on short flats. Toyota, I like him, and again, I think he's just because of the formula down here, I think he probably would have qualified in the top 10. He usually has the speed, and I think he's got some place differential, and I really like him here. But I think he'll be popular. Gibbs, same thing, but you're paying 1,200 more. If you get him in a cash lineup, that's great. I think again, this he has been solid, good form. Had a mistake here or there, but like in his sophomore season, he only has had one cup race in at New Hampshire, so he doesn't have much trunk experience here, but I think he'll be fine. I think there's enough notes from the other team and everything from to be able to help him out that he should have a successful day. Kyle Larson's only down here because he crashed last week, 19th. I think he'll be chalky in a cash play. I didn't really want to put him as a prime play because I want to let you decide what high price if you're going to chase the place differential here. Um, He's been good on short flats, but then stuck in traffic here. If it's hard to pass, this is similar to Iowa, so we'll have to see if I don't think we're gonna have the issues just because we don't have the temperatures. Well, I mean, it's gonna be hot, but not like the sun baking hot on the asphalt. It's probably gonna be like overcast and like the humidity is gonna be a huge factor. And I don't know if that's gonna like cause chaos on tires, but like Goodyear brought like a softer one, so there would be some fall off. So hopefully there can be some passing. So that could bode well for Kyle. I think you can play him in cash. I think like my GPP build is going to start with not my 100K one, but like my just like regular like GPP main GPP build is going to probably start with like Larson and Hamlin and go for the place differential there. Most of our like some another solid floor play here, usually finish in the top 20s, overachieved. Spire's another team like front row, which is like moving forward in the right direction. And I think has solid cash play. No Grayson was always good at short flat tracks here. He's been having a solid season. I know Stuart Haas has lacked speed at times, but has been more something when it comes. Grayson has seemed to be able to find it, and he's got a decent crew and everything. He's auditioning for a ride next year, so a lot riding on this, and I think that he should be solid. Was he still in the series for this race last year? Can't remember. Yeah, he finished 32nd. He was in an accident, but started 29th, but much better equipment, much better psyche this year. So I think he can move up, and I feel that he's got enough floor to be a solid cash play. Dylan, I know you're gonna be shocked if I Dylan is a cash play. And Dylan and our CR cars have been horrible this year, but he had a really good run here last year. He finished ninth, started 11th. So he's for some reason has done well at New Hampshire. So I'm just gonna take that in consideration. At 6,200, I think, he's you've got a lot of options. If you don't feel he's the one, then you got Kosovar for $100 more. You got Haley for $100 less. You've got some really strong plays here in this range to be able to build your lineup. But I think you have to consider Dylan. Chase Briscoe, I think the same thing. Also, it should be a solid cast play. Usually he's a top 20 driver. Um, so, but if it word does get out that he obviously Stuart Haas is closing up, but if he's starting to set his eyes on that, they might start pulling the resources from him. So we'll see what happens there. But I think he can still be a cash play. Justin Haley has just had an amazing season with Rick Ware, and I can't say that Rick Ware has taken the step forward that Spire and Front Row have, but they have been not a joke. So I think maybe this next gen cars really benefited them as a team, where they can compete and have like equal equipment and stuff and equal opportunity to field a team. So, and I think he's has some upside here. So 24th is a little far forward for him to start, but I think there's enough floor there to be a solid cash play. McDowell, same thing, front row, good team, usually decent on short flats. I think, between any of these ones, Grayson's obviously my favorite because I made him the prime, but between Hocevar, Grayson, and Dylan, Briscoe, Haley, and McDowell, like just put them all in your optimizer if you're doing that as like cash fill-in plays, and I think you'll have some very solid lines with some floor with this group. LaJoy is not a good track from GPP. Burton has run well at this track. That's why he didn't get the fade as usual. Last year he started 28th and finished 20th. This year he starts 27th. So if you can get up to 20th, I mean, I'd take a shot on that in a GPV potentially. especially if I'm trying to jam in a bunch of those high price players. Jonathan Nemechek, you know how I feel about him. He's just volatile. Like he has all the tools in the car and in his background and stuff to be successful. It just, I don't know if it's bad luck or bad decisions. It just doesn't work out more often than it does. So it's GPP for me. The final 100K car is going to be Cindric. I know he's had an off season. I know he's figured out at least one race, but he's down here just because of his season. He's been in decent form recently. Last year he started 22nd, finished 25th. Um, so, that they'd only give 4 place differential points, but I think that I don't think that he's going to get up there into like the top 10. But if he gets up to like top 20, top 15 from here, like at 7K, that's enough place differential points to really, with plus the finishing position, to really have a solid day for you. And again, I think people are going to overlook him. They're going to look at the people starting down here and go for the 5K drivers, or the next guy that we're going to talk about, and I think he's going to be completely overlooked if you look at it. Like, 23rd is the next like 7K guy. Everybody else is underneath it. So like, why would you play Cindric? So I think this is a great chance to pounce on him in, with some good opportunity for place differential to maybe be another solid point in your 100K lineup. Kyle Busch is going to be the biggest debate of the week. He's had an abysmal season. He has not been good at RCR, but he's been good on this track. And other than when they had that rainstorm and the in the pace laps and or lap one or whatever, and they were saying rain, rain, and NASCAR didn't throw the yellow, and he slid into the wall and then decided to run into the back of the pace car. I think that's also one where he parked his car like right outside the garage and walked away and blocked the entrance, and they had to go get it. So, and they like canceled that race after like 2 laps and resumed on Monday. Um, but he's been good here. So I think a lot of people are he's gonna probably be the most popular driver because they think there's gonna be a lot of place differential, but I could just see him not getting it. Kyle Busch has always been one that's good with practice and qualifying because he's one that can tell the driver or the crew chief what he needs and get the car dialed in. The longer the practice is where the more practice he had, the more successful he was. When they stopped taking that, that's when it was kind of his kryptonite when he hasn't been as successful. And I think that that could be so I can play him in cash. I think again a lot of people will consider him a prime or core play, but I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to let you make your own decision whether you include him or not. Priest is a decent GPP. Again, he's got ties to the area. A lot of upside starting 31st here. They've struggled with speed, but again, with like all the cars around him here, I think he can get past LaJoy, past Burton, past Nemechek, maybe even Kyle Busch if he has a bad day. So probably about like 4 to 5 place differential points up for grabs for him there. Eric Jones, same thing, but you're saving $700 here. I know Jones has been disappointed, but it's a Toyota. There's a lot of upside with this team. He does have some skill. He's not a 32nd place driver. So I think that this is a great value here at 59 starting here among all these other cars. Really like it. And I'm going to lock him into my cash games. Hemrick is always so slow. One of the cheapest drivers there, but a GPP if you need a punt. Same thing with Zane Smith. Kez Growell I can't do even though he's from the area. This just seems to be like the worst car and the slowest car on the circuit. I can see him being like 4 or 5 laps down. The only way he advances is through attrition. So if you think there's going to be a wreck fest, if you think they're going to think this race is going to be too short and try to get too aggressive too early, or if like water on the track or whatever is going to cause issues, they are going to have rain tires, but not windshield wipers. I hear they do have defoggers. But, if you think there's going to be chaos in this and a lot of cautions, which I mean, there were quite a few in the Xfinity race, then that could benefit Casquale and maybe take the fade off of him, use him as a punt if you need the bare minimum price that he offers you. And then Ty Dillon is stepping into a colleague car, taking over for AJ Allmendinger. And Ty Dillon he's starting at the bottom, shotgun through the field. So it's obviously there's an opportunity, but Ty Dillon, you know what you get. He's better than probably Grella and Hemrick, but this colleague program hasn't been great. Probably better than some of the cars out there. So I don't know. If he finishes, he probably should get into the top 30. So unless there's a wreck in the back or something early. So at 56, you got to consider him a GP. So I got for you a question. Put him chat below. Hit me with Megaro31 on Twitter, X. If you want more information on FSide DFS, you can go to the description of the video and the link to our website for a description are there. But why pay? If you haven't done it already, then just send us a screenshot that you subscribe to our channel to promos at FSidfs.com. It'll send you a coupon for a free VIP week. You can try everything for a whole week. It's not just a day, it's a whole week. Lots of content, lots of cool stuff going on. So take advantage of that before the offer expires. And then finally, if these videos help, continue to like, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and share with your friends. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great weekend. Hopefully this race does get to go in its entirety, and it is a good one when they can get it in. But again, play light, be patient, and if it doesn't work out, we'll try again next week, and I'll see you then.